Hello, welcome back to the BCS podcast post week 5. Post week 5, pre week 6.
It's flying.
Yeah,
We're kind of flying through the season.
It's October 2nd, folks.
Pretty crazy weekend. We almost didn't have a podcast, but hey, we're alive. God bless. I mean,
some of us are just insane.
Yeah, I think we can just start with their game. I mean, let the bros fight it out. I mean, hey, God bless.
Yeah. I mean, we got dominated in the second half for sure. First half actually came out pretty much firing. Offensively looked pretty sound. Had a couple of good drives. Got stuffed on 4th and 1 on a play where I'm looking around and the students are screaming, "Go for it!" And I'm thinking, why don't you just shut up so they can actually hear the play? Because it's so loud in the stadium because people are freaking out that we're actually going for it. And then we get jammed up the middle on a play that I thought we should have just ran something else. Ohio State got held to a field goal after unsportsmanlike on the first drive. That kind of backed them up, and then they kind of were just like, let's just settle for the points. I always say, if you're playing a top 5 team, especially at home, and you have any sort of momentum, go for it always. Instead of taking points, and I thought we did a good job at that. And then we got the ball back at one point. I'm pretty sure it was. Let me see. It was 10-0. We got the ball back again. Drove right down the field. I mean, got into the red zone again. Fumble. Jack Velling fumbles, which wasn't the. Jack Velling fumbled in the red zone, which was a huge loss there. And then we got a big stop. Jordan Turner got an interception from Will Howard. I mean, Will Howard didn't make a lot of mistakes, but that was one of those mistakes that he most definitely in a big game would want back. And then again, we scored a touchdown on that one, but I mean, Ohio State scored again. It was 17-7. And then we had
leaned forward in the chair.
They were like, this is getting exciting.
Right, hold on.
And then we drove down into the red zone again. And Aiden Childs, I mean, there was a penalty that should have been called on the play, but I won't complain about that. It was an obvious face mask. His face was sideways.
There was a few plays in this game where both teams should have major complaints about.
Yeah, the refs were not good. It's a typical Big Ten. Everybody complain about the refs game. But yeah, I mean, it gets punched out in the red zone, and then after that, Cozzi can touch more on it. But Jeremiah Smith's probably one of the best top 2 receivers in the country right now. At an unbelievable catch with double coverage, and then an unbelievable one-handed grab for a touchdown.
All blindfolded.
When that happened,
the angle you can see where his face is like this.
No, that was the different play.
Stabs it is unbelievable.
So here's the thing you got to remember. This was back-to-back one-hand grabs by Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
We forget, I mean, there was like a timeout where Will Howard got hurt and some of your fans made some inappropriate comments during that altercation. I don't know, Zach, would you like to comment on what was said?
We're not going to comment on what was said, but there needs to be more respect, especially for injuries. That's for sure.
No, and
I completely disagree. There's an epidemic in college of players faking injuries, and we really need to figure that out.
No, Will Howard got smoked on the play. And
Will Howard did get smoked.
He got the wind knocked out of him. Like, whatever.
I would also like to say that this is a great sandwich from our future sponsor, Harvest Brewing, here in Columbus, Ohio.
But yeah, Jeremiah Smith had a crazy touchdown catch.
Those guys got like bulletproof vests they wear.
In great coverage, honestly. I don't think you can get much better than that.
I also want to say Devin Brown came in, first pass of the game, and he put it on the money. I mean, he put it where
correct. It was a bad pass objectively.
No, incorrect.
How many receivers in football period make that catch?
Right,
like 6?
He put it where Jeremiah Smith could only catch it. No one else was catching that pass. That's number 1. Number 2, though, the main key on that play, Travion Henderson picked up the blitz and had maybe the pickup of the blitz of the year. I mean, go back and watch that play. If Travion Henderson doesn't even if he misses that blitz pickup, Devin Brown gets smoked, and we're kicking a field goal, and it's 20-7 instead of 24-7 at the half.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of momentum, but then once that play happened, everything shifted away. Everything was gone. Everything you would think it was done. It was like the game was done.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can't come out of the half and literally you got to shot yourself in the foot though, because
most of the game.
Yeah. I mean, right out of the half, you had that holding penalty. You had it down to what, second, maybe first.
You take those fumbles away. You take back the 5th and goal because somehow the refs offer a 5th and goal.
Okay, hold on. Can we actually talk about this play?
Yeah, it was really weird. It was really weird.
Okay, so I don't know what I mean. Will Howard, you even saw his expression on his face. He was like, "Wait, we snapped the ball. Like, why did we snap the ball? Like, there was clearly no time on the clock. Even Will Howard was like, okay, cool. I'm just going to hand it off here." And then they went to commercial break and they came back and, can we talk about, Blake, you watched this on the Peacock, right?
Yes.
Can we talk about how bad, and I don't know if they did it for Michigan State, but they had our starting defensive roster up, or our starters for the game. Tyleik Williams was on that. Tyleik Williams didn't play. He didn't get the start.
No.
They had no preparation. Colt McCoy was like, I love Tom Brady now compared to Colt McCoy, and I'm a big Colt McCoy fan.
Yeah,
like
I actually Tom Brady, man, he was fine. All right, listen.
I'll take Tom Brady. I'll take Greg. Greg Olsen? I will take Tony Romo. You know what? Here's how bad Colt McCoy was. I'll take Chris Collinsworth, and I don't like Chris Collinsworth, but Colt McCoy was on a whole different level bad. And I don't know how many games he's done. He might have done 2-3 games, so maybe he'll get better. But I was like, are you guys just putting like a name in the box just to do the game?
He seems like a halftime guy.
Yes.
Not really like a game guy.
It was a total train wreck of a production. I mean, you pay more for Peacock. It's not on a TV plan. It's not on this.
Yeah.
The production was terrible. Like, from announcing to getting who's playing in the game correct. Like, you literally
I still don't understand why you guys and Penn State were both at 7:00.
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, exactly. So you put the two. I mean, I'm not saying
my game was a snooze fest dog shit game. Why
our game was interesting for about the first.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
It was a wild slate. You're not going to go head to head on a streaming service against Georgia, Alabama. Get serious, Big Ten.
Exactly.
And you should have punted there. Put freaking the Wisco UCLA game or USC game on the end. Who cares?
Honestly, you know what we should have been? We should have been either a noon kickoff on Peacock where Nebraska and Purdue were on Peacock at noon, or were they even 3? They might have been 3:30.
Yeah, there was no. I don't.
They were noon. They were noon.
There was no 3:30. We should have probably been like the 4:00 slot on Peacock, and that should have been like
they did these weird times last year.
Fox afternoon slot was Colorado.
They did this weird time last year where we played.
I mean, Colorado's not really getting like that many numbers. I'm guessing
they had a little bit more than Michigan. They were like the third most watched game last week.
Really?
They were a 2-touchdown dog and one outright. It was incredible.
I mean, they won by a lot, which I was shocked by. But
likewise,
I mean, I'll just say this: second half, we kind of controlled the game. I mean, you could just tell, like, even the stadium was like, "Oh my god!" But
I did not watch a snap of the second half. There was better games on.
After the first half, I was like, we literally shot ourselves in the foot. We had plenty of opportunities to score some points to make it an actual game. I mean, realistically, you look at the scoreboard and you think 24-7, that must have been a dominating half. Like, we literally shot ourselves in the foot. If we're playing how we did in the first half against some of these other teams, I'm going to say when we play Iowa, I think we'll actually, I mean, other than the turnovers, if we play how we played, I mean, that looks pretty dangerous. I mean, we kind of limited a team that has so many explosive players. I mean, Quinshon Judkins, he didn't play a ton, but also he didn't have crazy, crazy long runs the entire game.
So here's my worry about my team is we literally did this against Marshall with a slow start in the first half. The defense didn't look great. Offense kind of sputtered around and they did whatever they wanted to do kind of against Marshall. But, like, once again, it felt like the first half against Marshall was like, we're just going through the motions. This game felt like we're just going through the motions. But at the same time, I look at it, I'm like, we just went through the motions and we're up 24-7. Like, we just out-talent you guys. Plain out right.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I know everyone hates when I say it, dude. It's you guys are a carbon copy of us last year. Okay.
It's
like,
I mean,
we just talked. All of a sudden. So yeah,
we can compare
after that Oregon game's gonna tell us everything.
We can compare this right now.
unbelievable.
I mean, just to compare how much talent Ohio State has, and this is a great comparison because we're kind of talking about it and we're recording this at a good time. If their $20 million roster is actually worth $20 million, that is more than the entire Detroit Tigers baseball professional organization's playoff roster combined in payroll. That's insane. That just shows how much they really spent on this team to bring all this talent. You know what I mean? It really shows how much talent they have, especially there.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's more than the Guardians too.
Probably.
I think we're lower on the payroll than you guys.
Yeah, probably. It's nuts. It's insane. So yeah. If we just want to go through it, we'll just go through real quick, run through the games, and then Blake can go because
we got some stuff to talk about in your game.
Blake's got some things. That's probably gonna be we'll see. But yeah, Rutgers beats Washington 21-18 and kind of
try that West Coast bullshit in the Big Ten town. See what happens.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, nice kick at the end there, Washington.
Yeah.
The only guy that returned that was a starter on the team last year.
The walk-on kicker. Yeah, and he missed like 4 field goals. Oregon 34-13 in the last night.
They had 550 yards of offense
and lost.
18 points.
Yeah.
18 points.
They had 18 points. 18 points.
Outgained them over double on total yardage.
Yep. Oregon 34-13 over UCLA.
Looked like crap. I know no one watched that game because it was 1 in the morning.
Asleep.
That game stunk. Okay, Ethan Garbers was hopping around on one leg the entire. He's limping, like you can see him like a snap. He's throwing these ducks, like almost throwing like a girl. No disrespect to the ladies out there. He's throwing like a chick. He's got 1 foot. He's hobbling around in between snaps. He's like literally almost crying on the bench, like Hubby Levis. Like,
and he's still like,
and he's just lighting him up. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. They kind of just coasted through the second half, but 28 to 10.
They were lucky. There was a 90-yard fumble return that got pulled off the board for a BS flag.
Illinois
96-yard pick six in that game too.
Illinois loses to Penn State. Penn State wins 7. I didn't actually watch this game at all.
I watched it. That game sucked.
That game was a snooze fest.
It was 2 coaches trying to lose.
It literally felt like Illinois was going to tie this game at 14 multiple times, and that Penn State. Oh, and by the way, Blake, since you watched this game,
yes.
How great was the clip in the back by Penn State that just didn't need to be there on the pick six?
Yeah, that was stupid. I saw that.
Yeah, sneaky. I think it was a good thing. I was saying this at the time, because. If you have the ball like that, you can just kill out the clock, which I believe they did.
Yeah.
But it was just such a dumb penalty. I mean, look, if it was on the quarterback, I get it. But dude, because there's nothing more fun for a defensive player when they see a pick and they just literally go, let me go get this quarterback and let me just go crack back and kill him. Every quarterback loves that. I mean, ask South Carolina, but.
By the way, when Penn State gets into a close game, if you hold them to field goals, they don't have a field goal kicker. So.
Yeah.
And look, man, I can say this as a J.J. McCarthy person. You got to eventually, we're going to make Drew throw. Every team told me you're going to make J.J. throw. First of all, we were better enough, so we didn't even have to throw half the time. But the games that J.J. had to throw, we won. And I don't know if you're going to make Drew throw if you're going to win. Okay, it's one thing to throw, 40 times against West Virginia up 50. Okay, if you're, God forbid, you're playing USC, they score a lot. If you're down a score or down 10 to Ohio State early, can you play from behind? I don't know. Michigan surely can't play from behind. Can Penn State? Who knows?
Yeah. Speaking of USC, big comeback win. Wisconsin.
No. Hold on. We got to back this up. This wasn't a comeback win. This was just a complete Wisconsin meltdown.
Yeah. They should fire Luke Fickell at the end of the year.
They literally melted they melted worse than Swiss cheese.
Yeah, 21-10 at half, and they lost 38-21. They didn't score a single point.
Fraud. They've had 2 teams try to lose the last 2 weeks. Michigan tried to lose, and Wisconsin actually did. We at least, we basically broke a big run. That was pretty much the difference. And again, Luke Fickell, I have never seen someone commit career suicide harder than he did. He could have stayed at Cincy, Because look at what Kentucky's doing now that Cincy left. Okay, Kentucky and Cincy's the same pool of talent. Okay.
Yep.
You could have been like the mini Ohio State, steal all those guys, get all like the almost good enough to be there guys. You got in the tight end from freaking Bowling Green, probably would have transferred out there, all that stuff, right? You would have had a great little thing going. You'd have ran the Big 12. You could have done your little run and gun cutesy shit. I don't know what that was all about. Like, if you're gonna do that, go to some fake school. I don't know why you went to Wisconsin. Like, hey, Wisconsin, one of the only consistent brands long term. Like, Wisconsin's like a blue chip stock, man. Every year it's 8 wins. Okay. Your floor, your ceiling's 10 wins, your floor is like 6 wins. Now, what's your floor? You're looking at a team that they might win like 3 or 4 games. Like, it's crazy. You struggled against Western, you struggled against South Dakota. Yep. You should have lost to both of them, probably, especially Western. And now, is there a team on the schedule you can circle as a win? No. I don't even know.
No, there's not.
Like, they are in such a bad spot.
Yeah,
I don't know that I don't think they make a bowl game.
I said that. I said once they got hurt. I mean,
I don't even know if they made a bowl game with him.
Other than that, I think we should go to the Peacock game, which no one really cared about, and was
USC's a good second half team. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska, Purdue,
snooze fest first half.
Nebraska's a fraud. They're such a fraud. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this game was so slow, and then
they ran it up in what was it? Wasn't it like 3-0 going into the fourth quarter?
It was
7-3.
7-3. Yeah.
And then they absolutely turned it up.
And then,
here's that pad at the end. Cutesy.
Well, hey, I'm just going to say this. You got to remember there was a pick 6 by Nebraska to make it 28-3. So, I mean, look, they scored. They made it 14-3, put it kind of out of reach. Then they had a 3-and-out, scored again, and then they had the pick 6. So
just like Wisconsin, like how Wisconsin. By the way, if you hit Wisconsin against the spread, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, and then we can talk about this game because I was flipping back and forth between Michigan, Minnesota.
Yeah,
I mean Maryland, Indiana.
Indiana wins 42-28. I mean, honestly, it was a great game.
The only thing I saw was the ref play an incredible block on that Maryland touchdown.
Yes. Okay.
Perfect form.
So there was that. Maryland's not good. They lost by 14. We're down 14-7 at the half, and the turnover battle was 3-0 in their favor in the first half. Yeah. And Indiana had another turnover in the second half.
Yeah.
It was a 4-0 turnover battle in the favor of the Terps, and they literally got demolished.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Indiana had 510 yards of offense. I mean, Rourke is really good.
Yeah. I mean, he's cooking for sure.
He's a big underdog. It's gonna be a fun.
The only thing that's interesting is if they can, they'll be in a good shape if they can limit those turnovers. If they keep the turnovers going,
it's going to catch up with them with a decent team.
I cannot wait to get a free rank win. Me and you, Cozzi, free rank wins back to back. Oh, I love it.
Just remember, they're going to kick our ass.
Yes,
they're going to kick both of our asses and Purdue all 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. They're going to kick Purdue's ass now.
Actually, I had tweeted about it and months ago, and randomly an IU fan, as soon as they beat Maryland, said, "You better get ready. We're coming for you."
That's the thing, is because good for them because they don't know what's happened to hit them before. But hey, look, if you're undefeated going into basketball season, they don't care. They won't even remember what happens.
Exactly.
I got some breaking news. I'm going to say the breaking news, and then Blake can go. Breaking news. We have a Thanksgiving basketball game for 2025 that just got announced. Pretty good. Michigan State versus North Carolina. So that's it. That'll be a good game. There's 2 games on that Thanksgiving next year.
Gosh, I can't wait to see RJ Davis versus Maddie Sissoko. Very excited.
Maddie Sissoko plays for Cal.
Exactly. Maddie Sissoko and RJ Davis still be on the teams.
Go ahead. Now go ahead with your so that'll be good. There's a couple games on Thanksgiving. I think that's pretty cool. They're also doing 2 mid-major teams on the same day. It's like a showdown. So they haven't announced that yet, but we'll see.
Didn't
go ahead.
You play Anthony Edwards in like Maui on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we did when he played for Georgia.
Had like 150 points in that game, more than that.
Yeah. So Michigan wins 27-24.
Little brown jug once again.
Great bar, by the way.
Yeah, right. So look, here's the whole thing. it was just like it was an Arkansas State game. All right, really bad pass interference on fourth and a bit, or personal foul on first. What's it called? On fucking fourth and a billion. Right, hands to the face. If you look at it, Mason Graham's got his hands like right here. Hey, by the way, great flop job. Okay, I have nothing but respect for PJ Fleck. He loves Michigan. And again, this is my biggest takeaway of the entire game because, like, look, I don't care. Like, we were up 20-something, whatever. Orgy actually looked good in the first half. Like, I mean, he doubled his or tripled his, I think, his passing from last time. It was really funny. I think I was playing Darius Taylor in fantasy last week, and he had like 15 catches because they literally their entire offense, the entire game was just checkdowns. It was kind of mind-boggling. They just check down, and they do like delayed screens. It was kind of sick. I actually love what they were doing. They look like a little group of 5 team. So Minnesota was pretty cute. They kept Darius Taylor warm though. It's gonna be great when he's in the winged helmet next year. Sneaky moment. So they threw a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. The guy dropped it. I don't care about that part. Whatever. He caught it with 2 seconds left, and they got the field goal team on, and they snapped it and kicked it with a running clock.
It was insane.
It was the best special teams execution I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And they kicked it before they even knew what the hell was going on. Sharon almost called a timeout. He probably should have to challenge
Here's the thing.
If the ball didn't get on the field, but
if he called a timeout, it would have been incomplete.
Absolutely. The ball was on the ground, whatever.
It wasn't even close to a catch.
And that's the favorite thing about all these games at Michigan. We've got these like Minnesota fans in this group chat that are like been literally talking shit all week. First of all, dude, you dropped the ball, whatever, don't care. Second of all, it wasn't hands to face. I don't care, whatever. Jair Hill had one of the best interceptions I've ever seen in my entire life. Like I screamed like a girl in the stands. It happened. I didn't know what was going on. I don't even know how the hell he got his foot in there inbounds. They said it was a catch on the field. Shout out the ref for spotting that. It was insane because like his toes hit and then his palm of his foot hit afterwards. Whatever. But we have this major problem in Michigan. We're getting outscored. I believe someone had the number. It was like 70 to like 15 in the second half this year outside of the Texas game. We've won one second half in the Texas game. Okay. Lost second half every other game, which is like either this team just couldn't be asked. Like, I mean, you know, the championship hangover. I know half the team's gone, but I don't know what it is. Or if it just we just go to prevent early. I will say we're getting a lot of run. I don't know the exact FPI stats, but Michigan, they said like every guy on the team has played in almost every game so far. I don't know if it's because like, look, dude, we're just going to have all of our kids play. We had full on third strings, like in the middle of the third quarter. We had all the third strings in. All right. Listen, they had guys looking like me out there. I don't know how to put it anyway politely other than that. We had a white corner at one point. I was like, what the hell is going on here? So we just kind of gave up, whatever. They had stuff at the end. Was it offside? Probably. I mean, look, my favorite thing is the photo that people are taking, acting like they don't know how photos work. Listen, I don't know if we have the flat earthers or something out there in Minnesota. Guys, the photo is from the 50-yard line, and it's looking down the line sideways. So if the guy is almost over in the photo, and they're like, look, he's behind the line. Do you know how point of view works? Anyone? Like, do we have to redo JT was short and like get the like?
I was just gonna say, wasn't there photos that you guys like had done the point of view?
Exactly. If anyone would know, it would be us.
Wasn't short. Like there was definitely proven.
Listen, and that was actually like that was the whole point. It was like, look, if you look at the angle and you line it up, it makes sense. They weren't even trying to do the curvature of the earth and the line. So first of all, Minnesota, if you care, if you don't, get good. We beat you in the only sport you give a shit about, football, basketball, and hockey. So line that shit up on hockey. We'll beat your ass again. I don't give a shit.
I was going to say, they don't care about basketball.
Line me up. You had that cute little gopher on your helmets when we beat your ass in your home.
I like that. That was sick. That was sick.
No, hold on. Can we say this?
Wrong.
I absolutely hate the Minnesota helmet this week. You had an M on one side and a gopher on the other side.
Both sides or don't.
Yes, exactly. It bothered me the whole game. It bothered me the whole game, and I was just like,
that stupid Steeler helmet. Yeah. Like, dude, put it on both sides.
I mean, what can I say? I mean,
and then yes, offsides and illegal touching, illegal formation, whatever.
I'm just going to say this: they had your favorite guy there too, Walls, who was supporting the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
This guy shuts down the highway. Okay, Mr. Common Man shuts down the highway for a private flight, takes a box, has a campaign photo during a media timeout of him cheering. Like, that was the best part. They zoom in. It's like, dude, there's a media timeout. The guy with the fucking red hat has a stick on the thing with the clock on the timeout. If you look at the corner, it's like, dude, nice. Okay. Whatever. was very well received by the people that actually pay for their tickets, as opposed to the nepotism children wearing maize all game. But look, even the student section was there for a long time.
I will say this:
they were there for a long time. It was cold and pouring rain, and the wind
It was like
blowing
3/4 were gone.
I know.
Now all those idiots on Twitter that were calling and trying to cancel a social media kid, I had standing water on my feet on row 64 or 62. Okay, I had water in my shoes, on my feet. That graphic fit. Go whatever. Kiss off.
But yeah, Michigan. I mean, if we're just gonna
top 10 team, put some respect on my name.
If we're just gonna talk about it now, I mean,
failing upwards.
This is one of those teams where, other than that USC game, which they really didn't, if Michigan goes down double-digit points, I would be worried. I would be very worried for their sake of, can they come back? Because they look good.
Great point. I forgot who it was. We have a new betting trend. Those of you that followed me on Twitter or other people, the first half Michigan money line, second half other team was the easiest money you've ever had in your entire life.
In Michigan basketball.
Michigan first half, against the spread, is 4-1 this year. And if you take the team live, you could have gotten Minnesota like plus 20 live. All right, look, dude. I think we've against the spread. I think we're 1-4 this year, but at first halves we're 4-1. So do with the information.
I would also like to shout out. I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, Mullings has betting odds for a Heisman Trophy. So, I mean, you should.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at. I can't find it anywhere. But
I was told that he has betting odds, so maybe you should actually go look at that. And I mean,
excuse me, what's his first name?
Oh, Khalil.
Yeah, what's that in Kryptonian? That's Superman's name. Sorry.
Oh. So I just want to say,
someone came across my desk today that Ohio State is 12th out of 18 in yards after contact by the running backs. So people are calling them Mickey Mouse running backs.
That's fine. You can call us Mickey Mouse running backs. Maybe we just have a good offensive line. We're still gaining yards.
But again, the actual takeaway: Alex Orji actually looked good. Colson Loveland has more catches and yards than my entire wide receiver room combined, which is very funny.
Also, the interception was absolutely insane.
Unbelievable. But
I'm
trying to look here. Oh yeah, shout out Spartan Dog for Life, Jaron Magnum, with the longest carry of the game for Minnesota. I think it was the longest play outside of that one crazy catch that wasn't a catch. So one carry for 16 yards. But yeah, Darius Taylor, the running back, had 10 catches for 52 yards, and the other guy had 6 catches. So they had 16 catches to their running backs. So,
and they were probably almost more yards than Michigan's
check down city crew. And our receiver scored a touchdown this week. Let's go.
Yeah, that was nuts.
But
couldn't bet on Orji to throw a touchdown pass.
Once Orji throws the ball away, that's great, because he's still and Juke, dude. He's literally like young Cam Newton. He's like, I want to run through him. I want to run through his face. And he does. But then he falls over afterwards. It is electric, though, man. Like, think going from him to Davis Warren, it was like 3rd and 9. He just rolls out to his right and just runs over this huge linebacker, just like straight up like targeting. He lowers his helmet and he just runs right through him. It's great. But because I would say, like, preserve your body, run out of bounds, but you're my quarterback for a year. I don't really care. Like, go for it, dude. What do you want?
Yeah, I mean, you have nothing to lose at this point.
Like, you got accounts on Twitter that are Commanders fans. They're like, literally their name is Jaden, please slide. I don't care. Run through them. It's fun.
Yeah, because it's like, what are you gonna do? I mean, like, are you gonna go back to Davis Warren if it doesn't work out, type thing? Like, I don't think you're gonna do that.
With arthritis.
Yeah.
But there was a game that was going on during the Michigan game. As always, people talk about the biggest brand in sports. Again, number 1 Big Ten game once again was Michigan this week. And the thing is, you look through this, and everyone's just like always taking care of us. And once again, another top 10 team loses while we're playing, and only people are talking about us.
Yep.
As the leader of the Lane Kiffin train, this is unacceptable. Okay, you cannot be making videos with the
Kentucky's defense is
doing that shit.
Kentucky's defense is unbelievable.
Kentucky's defense is awesome.
They have almost upset Georgia and have now upset Ole Miss in.
Now, time out. There's a phenomenon in the overrated SEC conference that happens every time. And whenever one of these top 10 fake teams loses, right, all you hear about is, Kentucky's actually good. Ladies and gentlemen,
Kentucky got the
Kentucky
shit
had
kicked
less.
out of them.
They had less passing yards than Alex Orji did against USC. Okay, Brock Vandergrift threw for 30 yards, and they lost to a guy with sports goggles. Okay,
Hey.
I want you to take it easy. You lost to South Carolina, not in Cocktober. Something happened wrong. Okay, they stink. I don't want to hear about this bullshit about how they're good. Because guess what happens? Guess what happens? If Vanderbilt would have beat Missouri, it would have been, wow, look at Vandy. They're so good. They're so good. No, do not fall for the trap. Okay, these SEC teams stink. There's 3 good SEC teams. 3.
I need to go here. I need to go here real quick because
Please,
speaking of Cocktober,
yeah,
this week the lane train rolls into Columbia.
Okay,
it's one of these games where, like, if they would have beaten Kentucky on a heartbreaker,
this
it'd
would
have
have
been
been
like, we're hammer spotting South Carolina.
Oh, absolutely.
But
But
now it's Ole Miss is going to kill them.
Now I'm like, I disagree with that.
Look at it. It's
No,
like
no.
Notre Dame. It's like the Notre Dame game. Everyone's like, "Ooh, Purdue's going to give them a stretch."
No,
Lose to Northern
no.
Illinois. Whoops, beats them 70-0.
By the way, that line is still a 9-point line at South Carolina.
Here's your line. Here's your line. Look, this is the lock of the millennium. If I could put my net worth on it, I would. Antoine Juice Wells, okay, transferred from South Carolina to Ole Miss. They hate him. They're burning, like borderline burning effigies. I haven't seen anything, but it wouldn't put me past it. It's college football. It is what it is. He's going to at South Carolina. Lane Kiffin's one of the pettiest people of all time, and it's why everyone loves him. If you don't think he's going to force feed the ball to Juice Wells this week, you don't know anything. I don't know what his touchdown line is. I don't know what his catch line is. He also takes handoff. So I would take him anytime touchdown. Is probably plus money. I don't
maybe 2. Maybe 2.
Money.
Maybe 2.
That is the freest bet of my entire life. Is that.
All right.
Score guaranteed.
So we got to touch on this game because it was absolutely insane. I don't think we touched on it last night.
You have to.
Virginia Tech,
yes,
almost stuns Miami in an absolute thriller on a controversial final play of the game.
What do you think the call is?
I think it was a catch.
It was definitely not a catch, but there's no way you can overturn it.
Exactly. There it is. It's the Packers and Seahawks all over again.
Yeah,
the Hail Mary.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same. Like
look, I literally said it when in the group chat when we were talking about it. It was like, dude, look, it was just like basketball. 2 guys are fighting for the ball. 1 guy's out of bounds, incomplete. It was very simple.
Yep.
But the fact they called it a catch was banana land. I kind of loved it. I was sitting there like, it's like my first Georgia Tech, now Virginia Tech. Like, there's a few things in this game because 1, Cam Ward's electric. He's a great college quarterback because he has backbreaking like picks. He's basically what you hope Childs turns into. He has backbreaking turnovers and then just unbelievable plays. That was one of the best play action hard sells I've ever seen. That touchdown to Arroyo, where he hands the ball off and he stands over the hand behind his back. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna throw it now, and just a little lob to him for an 80-yard touchdown. Virginia Tech, okay. This is the thing that I hate most about college coaches is when they get cute. And the worst thing for him was they put the graphic up where their coach is 1-9 in 1-score games. You're running it down their throat, no problem. You get the ball back, you throw it 3 times on 3rd and like mid-goal. Then you line up for a field goal and you run a fake field goal where you could have made it a 7-point game. You think you wouldn't have liked being only down 3 as opposed to being down 1 as opposed to being down 3 that you were at the end of the game or 4 at the end of the game? You kick a field goal, there's no problem. The thing, it's just, if you're doing something well, why go away from it? I say the same thing with prevent defense at the end of the game. I forgot who it was. I think it was Oklahoma. They were playing Auburn, and it was an absolute nonsense game. Brett Venables brought like a cover 0 blitz at the end of the game, and it was like instant sack, game over. Yep. I loved that. I'm like, dude, if you're blitzing the guy all game and it works, keep doing it. The getting away and trying to be cute drives me up a wall. And I don't understand why teams don't do it, especially like if you're running the ball at will and you start throwing it at the end of the game. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't know. College coaches, man.
So, yeah.
It just
makes sense. Next game, Arizona upsets Utah 23-10. I caught a little bit of that game, not a ton.
America's team.
America's
Utah
team
was 0 for 4. 0 for 4 on 4th down.
On 4th down, yes.
I outrushed by freaking Tia McKellen in FIFTA.
Caught a little bit of it on the side screen. We had the 4 screen set up.
Yeah.
Look, Utah, they just they cost themselves this game, and essentially it was a big shocker because, I mean, Utah literally 0 for 4, like we said, and then you had the interception to end the game. Another thing is, talk about Arizona leaving the door open for just absolute pandemonium, probably, and just Utah couldn't capitalize on it the whole game.
Every time it was like, oh, here's the stop. Here we go. Here we go. Because the live line was sitting at like Utah, I think was down 4 like the entire time.
Yep.
I'm sitting there like, all right, here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Both teams try to lose. It was just, mind boggling. I'll tell you this right now. Are we going to get another year of Cam Rising?
Probably. I mean,
I don't know if he gets another year eligibility. Maybe
like one game.
We'll see.
He got hurt again. Notre Dame beats Louisville 31-24. Louisville kind of had a comeback, and Notre Dame shut that down. Didn't watch much of that game.
It was they had, I think it was like 4th and 1.
I didn't even watch any of this
30-yard line.
No,
and they got a delay game on a QB sneak. They're about to line up for a QB sneak. Got a delay game 4th and 6. They brought the house, turnover on downs. Jeff Brom, dude, if you would have done this, the narratives about him just being a giant killer would have been crazy because sneaky Louisville, could make some noise in the ACC. If you would have had that happen, because Miami is to be had. Clemson, I'm all the way back in on, but Miami is to be had, man. I don't know. Louisville, it stunk. That would have been the dagger to put in the hearts of Notre Dame because they got 2 games against 2 red hot service academies. So I don't know. It would have been nice, man. Imagine if like Army or Navy went in there and eliminated Notre Dame.
2 more games to touch on, and then we'll go to the game. Potentially what could be the game of the year. Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Kansas State, after a bad loss, comes back and just they do what everybody does. They dominated.
They're good at home.
They dominated Oklahoma State.
I need to throw the ball. Run the ball.
Johnson, 5 touchdowns. Unbelievable.
I would like to put in a nomination for this year's America's team
as Kansas State.
Incorrect. Conference. BYU, dude.
Yeah.
I believe an underdog in 4 of the 5 games.
Hold on, though.
I don't know if we can have the Mormon team be the American
team. Hold on, wait a minute.
What do you mean?
Wait a minute. BYU almost blew this game. It was 28-0, and they were running away with it. And then it's like they just stopped playing.
Stuff happens. Dude, they were soaking at halftime. What do you want them
to do? There is one other game I do want to touch on. And I
wanted to touch on this night game.
Yes.
G5 championship of the world.
There is one player, the best, I would say one of the best players, if not the best player at the moment in college football, Ashton Genty.
You had 2 top 5 players top 10 players in this game in college. I don't care.
Future
the player is a beast.
Yeah.
Future running back of the year. I mean, he has 845 yards and 13 touchdowns. And all 13 touchdowns came in 3 games. That is unbelievable.
He's averaging 10.3 yards per carry.
Yes. He was averaging yards per carry, like 17 in this game.
I know you were watching this game, Cozzi. I think it was like they got the ball at like their own 20, and it was like Wazoo was like only down like 14, and he just he had that one drive. He broke like 4 tackles, and I think he broke the tackle so bad. Wazoo got like 2 unsportsmanlike contacts, fouls back to back because they were just pissed. They were just so mad. He's literally running through people's faces, and he's a midget. He's LeGarrette Blunt, but like mini-sized.
It was 31-17 at one point in this game, or it might have been 24-10. I think is when that huge run happened or something. Might even been a 7-point game when he had. Yeah, it was a 7-point game.
It was 700 for 2 touchdowns.
It was 24-17, and he broke one for 59 yards, and it was just like, oh my gosh, are you?
I don't even know if broke one's the right term.
I kept asking myself in the second half.
I thought he got stopped twice.
Yeah.
I kept asking myself in the second half, when are they going to bench him? When are they going to bench him? Because I thought that they were just up by so many points, and they just kept him in, and he just kept going. 26 carries, 259 yards. Could have been way more. Couple of plays at the end, he just kind of ran to get the clock down.
The Washington State train to the playoffs has now been put on hold, unfortunately.
Yeah. But unbelievable game from Boise State. I mean, the Boise State train is back on.
I know. The Boise State train is back on. And here's the thing. I will say this.
John Mateer, big fan of John. All I can say
is
fan of John Mateer.
If Oregon beats Ohio State, Boise State is now your top group of 5 team.
Boise State is the #1 winner of the App State Liberty game being canceled.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And as we said, when the game got canceled, I was like, well, good thing we got another game of the year.
Well, I've been told that they're going to try to add another opponent to their schedules.
The thing was, it doesn't matter. It was each other was the whole thing.
Yeah.
By the way, I know this is a little bit off topic, but I just want to let you guys know that we were talking about payrolls earlier and how much Ohio State pays for their team. Someone actually just sent this text to me. The combined payrolls for the now Royals, who just beat the O's, breaking news.
Yeah.
The combined payrolls of the AL Central playoff teams remaining is $168 million. The Yankees payroll is $260 million.
It's nuts.
That's even before re-signing Soto, potentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's coming to Detroit.
Yep. Yeah, I wish.
Anyway, baseball breaking news.
Yeah, so and Churio just hit a home run as we're speaking. And now the game's tied 1-1 for the Brewers.
Was that the first inning?
Yeah, it was the leadoff batter.
I told you your fee before we started recording. Damn it.
Let's just go over the game. I mean, Blake's potential Heisman winner, unless Genty keeps this up, because he's on pace to. I mean, realistically, he's on pace to break Barry Sanders' record, but I think he's going to float out in
the Heisman. It just sucks. It's the way the reward is. He's got zero chance.
He has a strong potential to finish second all time in rushing yards and touchdowns. Because there's a huge gap there between Barry and the next guy. Alabama, Georgia, what could be. I mean, I watched pretty much most of the second half, but I mean, potentially could be the game of the year. Unbelievable game. Blake, you go ahead. You can start on this because you probably watched the most of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It literally the first quarter couldn't have gone better for Alabama. I mean, they had everything they wanted. Milroe personally, I don't know if he had some sort of personal beef against these guys, but he was just absolutely unstoppable. Anything he wanted, he got. He had one play where he shrugs off a defender, does this standing quick spin move, and then just pump fakes. That's my favorite thing that quarterbacks do. Is he's 7 yards past the line of scrimmage, he pump fakes, and the defender just. And he just almost runs the end zone. Anything he wanted. And I literally turned the game off. I put on the Penn State game because I was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to watch this one, blah, blah, blah. Because I was at my house, so I didn't have 2 TVs. I only had one TV and a laptop and a phone. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I can charge my phone, wait for the fun night games, blah, blah, blah. And then I get an eyeball emoji text to my friends, another one. I'm like, okay. And then you look, and it's like, okay. Now we got a ball game. And then it was I forgot what it was. It was Georgia made that big stand, that big stop. And I was like, all right. Or no, Alabama did. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, what? So it's Alabama gets the ball back with 12 minutes to go, up 3 scores. Georgia then proceeds to score 3 touchdowns, and I think it was 6 or 7 plays.
Yeah.
They scored a touchdown on 2 plays. Then they get the ball back after a punt, score a 70-yard touchdown. And then they got another one down at the 1-yard line and then run an end around. And you're like, oh my God, they took the lead? Oh my God, my mom was next to me. She was half asleep on the couch. And then you're like, how are they ever going to respond? It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. They're doing the whole dialogue, blah, blah, blah. And then you look up.
And there's just a bomb.
And a 17-year-old makes one of the greatest plays you've ever seen.
Unbelievable.
Tipping it to himself. That, mental capacity to do that, and then he hits him with a spin move afterwards.
2 guys with a spin move. 2 guys.
So I'm going to say I had similar experience to Blake because I kept watching out of the right corner of my eye, and I just kept going, okay, Bama by a blowout. I mean, We can go back and pull the recording from last week. I said Bama was going to blow Georgia out.
I texted Cozzi. I was like, "What a freaking call!" I mean,
yeah,
they got the ball back up 16. Like
and I thought, okay, they're up by 14, and I'm like, and I remember texting Blake, and Blake goes, I remember saying it's still not over. This is still Georgia. And here's the thing. Then they came back, and then they took the lead, and me and my buddy were sitting there, and we were on delay. He has YouTube TV. We were on delay, and we had our phones on his coffee table. And then all of a sudden, our phones just start going zzz, 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 like both of them just going nuts. And we're like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? And he's just like, don't touch your phone. And then we just see the pass for 75 yards, and we're like, wow. Like, that. Do you realize there was 2 plays, 2 scores back to back? Like, that's how this game went. Like, and it was, by the way, it was big plays. It wasn't like small plays, like 67 yards, and then boom, 75 yards the next play. Like,
it was the pinnacle of the sport. I mean, it was. I seriously think it was like a top 15 game I've ever watched. Like the way that ended, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Man, I got some really tough news for some people here. Georgia's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
They
are in a lot of trouble.
They have a gauntlet. I said it last week. They have a gauntlet. They got to play Tennessee. They got to play Ole Miss. They got to play Texas. They have
to win 2 of 3 games. There.
Yeah.
So by the way, they play at Ole Miss and at Texas.
Yeah.
And by the way,
at Ole Miss next week, home against Tennessee.
I was going to say yes. I'm not worried about them at home as much, but I'm going to be very honest with you. After the emotions that they put out there against Bama, this is a big rivalry against Auburn. Auburn is going to take this very serious, and they just played a pretty good game, finally. I'm not saying they're going to win, but Auburn had Georgia beat last year, and they blew it. Remember that?
I remember that.
Did you just say Auburn played a good game against Oklahoma?
They played okay.
They gave up a 14-point lead.
I know.
And lost in regulation.
They played okay.
As someone tweeted, it goes, it's Peyton Thorne time. He threw a pick 6, like 2 of them, like right at the end. Brother, they have I understand what you're saying. Like normally I would love Auburn in this spot. It's Peyton Thorne, dude. Okay. Georgia's defense might outscore Auburn this week. Let's be honest.
Yeah. That was
normally I would be all over it. I would.
So let's
go to this week.
Yeah, let's go to this week.
We'll start with our games.
I want to say quickly, moment of silence for Mississippi State. All right, they played Texas, and they got a good bounce back spot again. Sorry, they played, was it Texas, and then this week they got Georgia or something?
No, it's Texas, and then they got I believe they have a bye this week, and then they have Georgia.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll just run through the other games and our games, then we'll go through the rest of the week.
Awesome slate this week.
Yeah, we actually have a pretty good slate. UCLA plays Penn State. Penn State's like 28-point favorites at noon.
Whatever.
Purdue plays Wisconsin.
This is the don't think, just shoot and lay the number with Penn State here.
Yeah,
this is the James Franklin special.
Yeah,
we're big noon. We're going by 50.
Yep.
Yeah, this is where he's like everybody's got
a good player. I promise. I'm not projecting by saying Drew Aller is the best player and putting up these fake baseball stats that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. Purdue, Wisconsin at noon. We moved to 3:30. Indiana takes line. Purdue, Wisconsin, 14 points.
Purdue is a 14-point dog.
Yeah.
They might win outright. I don't care.
They might win outright.
You have the better quarterback, and you fire the OC.
Yeah.
Boys.
Indiana takes on Northwestern. Indiana's 14-point favorites. This is at the fake real stadium.
Hey, by the way, the fake real stadium. I'm looking right now on this. There's tickets. It's $130 to get into this game.
That's nuts. That's insane.
Indiana.
Hold on. Has Indiana had a bye week yet? Are they 5-0?
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
Will they be the first team potentially to clinch bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm looking because the Friday night games. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to have that tweet in the chamber and send it to my good friend Lukens if he's even awake in Nihao land.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say potentially the game of the week. If we're going to the next game.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Nebraska hosts Rutgers.
No. Right. I'm all on Scarlet Knights. And by the way, the intro for the Scarlet Knights the other night
was electric.
Amazing. Amazing.
The blackout was sick.
The blackout was sick, and they're going to go into Nebraska and win. This is a win. They're an underdog. They're a 7-point underdog. This is a Rutgers win. Oh, no. You can't shit on Nebraska and then come back and say they're going to win.
No, I'm just saying that there's this narrative right now that is Rutgers going to make the Big Ten championship game?
Yeah.
I want everyone to take a deep breath.
They have the easiest schedule in the
Look
Big Ten.
in the mirror, what you just said, and then continue on.
If they beat USC and Nebraska, there's the only loss that I could see them looking at might be Illinois.
You just said if they win as double-digit, as probably a touchdown underdog and double-digit underdog.
Hey, don't tell me that Lincoln Riley hasn't had more shocking losses before. Now, granted, it's an 11 p.m. kickoff on Fox, so
I don't hate this 12 hours of Big Ten football.
Yeah, it's awesome. And then the nightcap, 7:30, Big Ten Network. USC travels to Minnesota.
Whatever. USC's going to wipe them with the floor, probably.
8
By the way,
spread,
that is an 8-point game. 8-point spread. USC 8-point spread. They cover that spread, right?
Minnesota is the number 2 pass defense in the country.
Here we go.
That's an actual stat.
Only the number 2 because they played you. That's the only reason.
And Amari and Hampton.
Yeah, Amari and Hampton.
They play New Hampshire. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll just round back. Friday night, 9 p.m.
Kind of love Minnesota outright. For narratives, that'd be unbelievable if USC lost to Minnesota.
Go.
That would mean your win is lessened.
I could not care less.
They beat both of them back-to-back weeks. Doesn't mean anything.
The exact same score both times.
That was nuts. That was nuts.
You guys are going to start winning 27-24 at home every game, right?
I would take that this week.
You're on the run. Go Doug.
So yeah, we travel to Oregon, playing at 9 p.m. on Friday. Yeah, it should be interesting. We're 24-point underdogs again. I mean, the way I'm going to look at it is, if there's anybody who knows Oregon pretty well, it's Jonathan Smith. So if he comes up with some crazy stuff to beat them, or come close to giving them a run for their money, he'll figure it out. And yeah, I mean, this is just kind of going off of, I mean, it's a tough week. Turn around, play Ohio State, then turn around, play Oregon. Thankfully, this Ohio State, we didn't really have any major injuries like most other weeks, so that's a good thing. Kept everybody pretty healthy.
You get a season-ending injury every game this year.
Yeah. So nobody this week, so that's good. But yeah, should be interesting. Playing on a Friday night should be pretty interesting. This whole Big Ten Friday night thing is weird. Them playing 2 games or a game every Friday night is going to be weird. But it is what it is.
Don't put the big brands on it. Think about Wisconsin, Minnesota, USC.
Yeah, why isn't Purdue, Wisconsin this game?
Because I mean, think about it. What was it? The last Friday game last week was awesome. Was Illinois?
No, it was Nebraska. It was Illinois, Nebraska, and then Rutgers, Washington.
I mean, that's the thing. Put those fake good teams there. You know what I
mean? I mean, Blake, we're never going to be on Friday night, so we're fine.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Oregon's on it, I'm trying not to make jokes, but come on.
Well, I mean, they're just not a bigger brand.
No, dude.
So yeah, we'll move on. 3:30 on CBS.
Right now, you're gonna get an upset alert notification in this game. I swear to God, dude. Listen, because Oregon, this is a look-ahead spot. No, they gonna play Ohio State next week.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough to go out west. We're playing Iowa. They haven't won in the horseshoe since '91. I'm a little nervous, to be honest, because Iowa Hold on. I see your reaction here.
Hayden McNamara has a lower QBR than Alex Orton.
They're just going to run the ball the whole
Taller.
game. They're just going to run the ball the whole game.
Okay,
You know
so
what's coming.
I mean, if Iowa throws more than 10 passes, I'll be shocked because they should just run the ball.
They might throw 10 passes in the first quarter
Why? Why would they do that?
because they're going to be down the entire game.
Okay, well, maybe that might be the case, maybe. But outside of that, I think they're going to probably try and run the ball. I don't think they're going to stop us. This is not your typical Iowa team, and we normally handle business against Iowa when they're in the horseshoe. Granted, everyone knows about the just absolute meltdown in Kinnick Stadium. But, I mean, overall, though, this has been a lot of close games against Iowa sometimes. But recently, it's just been – they're just not as good. They have no offense. They have no offense, and then their defense gets tired, and we just stomp them into the ground.
I think this game's a blowout.
The only advantage is the rating, the PFF rankings and talking like the stats. The one red you have on your defense, your secondary's tackling is like 120th in the country.
Yes.
So if Caleb can break he's breaking a lot. Like if he can get past the first level, it's over.
It could be worrisome. 20.5 point line. I just want to know, it's a 20.5 point line. I think we're going to win this game by 3 touchdowns at least. Like I got us covering.
Probably, yeah.
I said it's a blowout. I don't think Iowa will score more than 14 points. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they're toast.
35-14. Final.
I don't want to look too far ahead because this is kind of a look ahead spot to where whatever happens in this game. I kind of feel like the same thing is going to happen when Ohio State plays Michigan. I feel like this is a very comparable game.
I'm going to say this.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not quite sure about that because Ryan Day has yet to look ahead against anybody.
Well, no, I'm just saying I think this is kind of a comparable game to where this is what Michigan's going to be like in November. They run the ball a lot. They can't really pass the ball very well. They have good defense.
No, we're not comparing Iowa and Michigan right now. They're not even close.
On paper, we are an identical team.
Oh
I mean, I wouldn't say that. That's crazy, man.
Man, I'm not.
Offense.
Other than that, I mean, I'm not too worried. I'm worried because of Caleb, but other than that,
look at spot is the only thing to worry about.
Yeah,
Caleb Johnson might break one.
Yeah, so
his anytime touchdown is going to be like 300. So
yeah, so
yeah.
Go ahead. We got one more
nightcap on NBC. There's no Peacock game this week.
Shocker! Maybe they should
if you want.
Maybe they shouldn't have had it on Peacock last week.
They should never have games on Peacock, but
I do like that NBC have the option to watch on Peacock. So like,
okay. So are you going to watch it on Peacock instead of NBC?
I currently don't have cable right now, so yes. My YouTube TV, what's it called?
Trial.
Free trial ran out, so I might try to run another account. I'm trying to scam it the whole way. There's no reason. Whatever.
Michigan travels to Washington, their first road game in the 5th week of the season. Shocker. They don't ever travel.
Yes. Some idiots will tell you this is the national championship rematch. I think there's legitimately out of starters. I think there's under 10 coming back out of the 40 on both teams. So like, yeah, okay. I think it's 30 draft picks. Not 30. I think it was like 25 between the two schools. So that's obviously nice. I'm trying to think for Washington. I think it's Giles Jackson, Michigan transfer, and the kicker. And then obviously, Michigan's returners by now. Was potentially going to go to this game. The total is 41.5. I think that's a little low. I know Michigan's sneaky been an over team this year, which no one really thinks about, but analytics, I'm shocked we're an underdog, which terrifies me because we have the advantage in almost every matchup you can look at. We're the only team to have 2 cornerbacks in the country over 80 rating on PFF, which I know PFF is, not the greatest with college rankings, but Jair Hill has totally grown up after getting absolutely bullied by Steve Sarkisian in week 2. Will Johnson didn't play last week, neither Josiah Stewart, and we cruised to a victory over the Row the Boat boys. Their thing is when you look at Washington, they can't score in the red zone. and that's Michigan. They let you have whatever we want between the 20s, and they force field goals instead of touchdowns. So if you can hold them in the red zone, no problem. They got one good running back and two good receivers. Giles Jackson's not great, but the other guy, Boston, on my fantasy team, I think I got auto-drafted him. Absolute animal. Dude just scores touchdowns. It is what it is. So you can limit that. You're fine. Will Rogers, check down machine. We saw what happened last week with check downs. I'm sure they'll do the same thing. So take over passing attempts to Will Rogers. Coleman, the running back, I don't think he'll get anything going. We'll see what happens there, though. Try to run it against our D tackles. Many have tried. None have done it yet. But for a team like Texas, you don't have to do it because you'll be throwing the ball too much. But we'll see. They've given up 9 rushes of 20 yards or more on the season, which is kind of insane. So you're probably going to see Mullings break one. He's got 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think 3 or 4 straight games now. Every Big Ten game for sure. So I would like to think it still goes, but this is, Michigan's schedule is fun. This is the fun part of the conference expansion. This is our 3rd huge game. We are an underdog despite being a top 10 team on the road. And the last time a team from Michigan was a top 10 team that was an underdog on the road, brutal season for Sparty. Got absolutely murdered by Penix out there before we really knew what was going on. That was the Keon Coleman legacy game. But I'm genuinely excited to see this game. I got to sit down and watch. Thankfully for me, I got to watch all the games this time instead of going to the game. You lose the slate before and after, at least normally, which stinks. So, talk about first world problems for Cozzi and I, and even Zack last week. So it is what it is.
I mean, if you play any time but noon, I mean, even the night games, you lose.
Even at noon, I come home and it's like end of the 3:30 slate. But
you lose everything.
I don't know. I'm really interested to see how this game turns out. I mean, everyone's betting on Michigan, and we're still an underdog, which again terrifies me. We match up so well against this team, but it's a young coach and a young team, really. First time on the road. The classic Michigan. We had 5 home games in September and August. Traveling across the country. It's a huge, huge, huge test for Sharon. Taking your team on the road, your first road game, really. I know you kind of shut down your leg against Penn State, but I mean, obviously, you're so much a better team than little old Penn State. I mean, come on. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, I know I'm kind of talking in circles because I'm trying to see how this happens, but the way I work on these games is Saturday after the game, I'm like, we're going to get killed next week, and I talk myself into an easy win by the time the game starts. So this being, Wednesday? I'm right in the middle right now. I think we're going to win. But again, people forget Jed Fish, ex-Harbaugh disciple, was the other guy in the video, the famous video where Jim Harbaugh asked if Jameis Winston has a sex addiction. Very funny clip. But yeah, Washington has one of the most penalized teams, and given Michigan short down and goal and free first downs and a team that struggles to move the ball at times. It is what it is. But if any team could travel across the country and it have no effect on them, I think it's Michigan, playing defense, special teams, and run the ball. So this is an absolute must win, because if you win this game, you go into your bye week at 5-1 and your whole season's in front of you, right? Yeah. Obviously, we're kind of all penciling in a loss and then November, but 10-2 makes the playoffs. I think Oregon can be had.
Not getting away with it that easily.
I think these other teams can be had. This is one of these games where if you think Michigan wins this game, I think the best bet is Michigan to make the playoffs. I think it's still like 5-1, which I think is a little nuts because realistically the season comes down to Oregon. The rest of these teams you should be able to out-talent. It is what it is. Like Michigan State's going to be a close game in theory, but if you look at the D-line versus O-line matchup for Michigan alone on defense, like you should have almost double-digit sacks in that game. And I'm getting ahead of myself, but
I just got one question for you. In the next few weeks, what's going to be better odds? The playoff odds or Mullings Heisman Trophy winner?
I don't know, man. I would not be surprised if Mullings has 200 yards in this game. Like, look, dude, we're just going to run, and he's going to be breaking a few.
Mullings has great odds. He's going to get better odds. He has better odds, apparently, than Caleb Jackson and, what's his face? Kyle Montague.
Yeah, of course he does. Once you realize that you have to be at a major school, even discussed in the Heisman, it is what it is. Like last year, Caden Salter had better stats in every stat metric than Jaden Daniels. Okay. Thankfully, Jaden Daniels for them is lighting it up in NFL, but it's not even an NFL.
Hey, it's offshore betting. Offshore betting has odds on him.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah,
he might have odds by the end of the year, and it might start here.
Okay.
But I don't know. I actually want to know what you guys think about this game because I'm legit using my gambling brain. Michigan loses this game because
I just don't like our East Coast teams not being experienced going to the West Coast.
It hurts us every time, and teams don't show up. And teams
just watch a team like Michigan and Rutgers eat their lunch,
but they were home.
I understand, but
if you look up the Big Ten's record when they travel to the West Coast, especially in night games, it is terrible. The record is not good. I think when we compared it in 2019, which is a while ago now, but at one point I'm pretty sure we were like 15-32. Like the record is not good.
And you want to know one of those wins was us going out to Cal and beating Cal. That's like shouldn't even count.
But there's some good teams that go out there and they just don't look like they're playing like themselves because of just like everything combined.
The main problem is like when we go out to the West Coast, we're there for like a week to 2 weeks because it's usually a bowl game.
Yeah.
But you saw that with Washington though. Washington literally kicked off basically at 4:00 on a Friday afternoon for them. So
it's tough.
Look,
I still think Michigan wins.
I think Michigan wins this. It's going to be a close game. I think every Michigan game this year is going to be close. That's
why I needed to win the Natty because I knew what was going to happen. Is looking at the schedule next year, every game's fun. Cozzi, you're kind of going through this now. When your team's that good, it's not even fun to watch your team. Michigan's an awesome watch.
I can tell you, I go through this a lot of years just because, it's just kind of boring because we are beating the shit out of everybody.
Yeah. It's fun to have close games again. I know it's such a cocky thing to say as a Michigan fan.
No, it's not fun. Because
the USC game was awesome.
I mean, I can tell you, Jim Tressel, when he was here, we had one score games, 7 out of the 12 games, and every game we'd win 6 out of 7, or we'd win all 7 out of 7. It was always close with Jim Tressel, but then Urban came and it's like we're blowing people out of the water, and it's like, oh, okay, this is offense, cool. But no, I agree. I don't know. I think Michigan wins a close one. But here's the thing: if you crack under pressure, that place is going to be loud. That place is going to be nuts. It's a Purple Rain game. I mean,
but the thing is they're on the teetering balance too.
They are.
You lost the Apple Cup. You lose to Rutgers, which I know they were basically favored in, but
but I'm telling you right now, though, people are going to get fired up for this game. This is the exact same thing as Penn State whiteout. This is Purple.
I mean, they have a loud crowd.
If Michigan goes up 2 scores in the first quarter, they could just quit.
But here's the thing, okay? And
you got to do that.
I understand.
You have to do that. If you don't, if Washington takes a 10-point or more lead, Michigan's drives are so long a lot of the times. They have those breakout plays, but they also some of your drives take forever. They take 5 to 8 minutes. The problem is they have a passing offense that can score if they want to at will type thing.
Can they?
I mean,
oh yeah,
we'll see.
Can they score?
We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see.
They have a triple-digit number next to their scoring offense, so I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, they just have that ability to throw passes. I mean, Will Howard. I mean, not Will Howard.
Score in the red zone.
Will Rogers.
The schedule that they got, bro.
Will Rogers hasn't made many mistakes though.
Michigan's thing. Listen, game plans are fun until you have Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant run down your throat.
Yeah,
I still think Michigan wins.
The problem is we're an underdog, and I'm terrified that.
It's been a while, huh?
We at least opened. Been a while. We've been underdog 3 times this year, twice this year already.
It feels weird, doesn't it?
I mean,
I'm used to it. I've been an underdog more than I've not.
So
I mean, according to my schedule, I'll be underdog to Illinois and Indiana. Apparently,
other than that, we really don't have that many top 25 ranked games. Except
we have
two teams that are frauds.
I mean, we got Syracuse versus UNLV on Friday.
Fun.
Fun
game.
Missouri
Fun game.
got
UNLV.
Texas State's playing. They're fun always.
Missouri plays Texas A&M at noon. I think
That is the only ranked game between two teams, and both are frauds.
Like we already said, Ole Miss, South Carolina.
Yep.
SMU Louisville, sneaky awesome game.
Sneaky awesome game.
I looked at the Boise State Utah State game, and I saw that the over is almost 70 points, and I also saw that the odds for Genty to score 3 touchdowns is like minus 175, and like that's insane to me because it's like a given.
You know who the quarterback of Utah State is?
I do not off the top of my head.
Spencer Petras.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Oh.
I can understand why that game is.
They got shut out by what's it called? By USC. I love the under in that. If it's 70, easy.
And then at 10:30 p.m., this is going to be the nightcap that most people are going to watch. It's going to be pretty electric. Miami travels to Cal, which
college game day.
If you told me that Cal was going to be within 14 points of a Miami team,
Cal should have been undefeated this game.
They could make some noise here.
They kind of blew it, but hey, college game day. Let's go Bears. Come on.
Yeah.
If Miami loses this game.
I thought they were going to lose the other game, and I thought
I don't know what's the number. Is it 10 you said?
Yeah, 10.
Yeah.
Cal can run the ball and force turnovers, score on short fields. It is what it is. And my favorite thing, by the way, talk about a game that lost luster. The fact we even skipped over it's hilarious. Clemson FSU is this week. Game of the year, guys.
I mean, I don't even think DJ's playing.
No DJ. No, he's out. He broke his finger.
Yeah.
He's out. So it's Brock Glenn going for them.
They're 14.5-point dogs at home.
I am so back on Clemson. It's not funny.
I think it's interesting though because
I was a year early on them. Cade Klubnik, Vanilla Vic.
Yep.
What's his Heisman odds?
Yeah. I mean that first loss was so bad, but they've bounced back. There's not a ton of games this week,
but
a lot of fun games though.
Let me see if there's anything else in the FBS
that Vanderbilt is hosting Alabama.
Stop.
Wait till they come and play us. That Hawaiian guy I remember a few years ago.
Also the academies play this week.
Yes, here we go.
Navy and Air Force play.
And the
undefeated 4-0 for the first time since 1945. Pretty good year. I think they were undefeated the year before that too. But hey, that's just me.
Both teams.
Hitler had us in the first half. Not gonna lie.
Both Army and Navy, first time undefeated since 1945.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's just say this: it's going to be an interesting down the stretch kind of season for both Army and Navy because I really honestly look at both their schedules. If they get by Notre Dame and both of them somehow beat Notre Dame, that could be an undefeated battle at the end of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, imagine if Notre Dame loses to both of them. That would be so funny.
If I was a sportsbook guy, I totally would. Like, if I worked for one, I'd have a prop out right now. It's like Notre Dame to lose to a service academy. I'd probably put it at like plus 100, plus 200.
Yeah,
probably like plus 150 to 200, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, also pretty good game in the MAC this week. Toledo plays Miami. I mean, Miami's falling apart. They were the favorites to win the conference, but now Toledo's actually still rolling.
R.I.P. the Bulls. It was a tough
yeah.
The Buffalo boys getting absolutely murder scened by UConn.
Yeah.
UConn put like 60 on them.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got.
And maybe I will say this: maybe the best 1-3 team in the country, Bowling Green. Maybe.
Yeah, they played some tough opponents.
Old Hannafin, shout out.
But yeah, and then the nightcap. I was like bringing up the nightcap. Texas Tech 4-1 travels to Arizona. I think that will be interesting. Morton's a pretty good QB, and we already know what T-Mac can do with Fafita. So. I mean, that's going to be an interesting. I mean, Arizona's just outside the top 25 because they fell in that bad loss. But I mean, this is a spot where they just, if they come out and dominate.
11 p.m. kickoff. 11 p.m.
I'll probably be falling asleep.
Other than that, I don't really got anything else.
I think that's it.
Yeah. trying to think anything. Yeah, I got nothing else. So
No.
another great week in the pod. Excited. Insane week next week.
Yeah.
Insane.
We have okay. So now we can just break this down real quick. We have 55 days of football straight starting tomorrow. I also wanted to mention that most of our teams are starting hockey this Friday. I don't know where everybody's traveling to. I know MSU is traveling to Lake State to start open their season, and then basketball's starting to roll around. So I mean, it's going to be picking up here where we're going to have 3 sports to kind of talk about a little bit and see where we're at. But
I do want to say, it is sad. This is the last week of the podcast. If we didn't make it through Michigan State, Ohio State barely, Lord help us for the Guardians versus the Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Series.
What should be interesting. I mean, there's a potential by the time we record again that the Guardians are sent home. So,
What's he doing?
What is he doing? No.
Hey, I just need Daly to say it.
Good point.
Yeah. So, I think that's all we got for this week.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Go Guards.